Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to a bright sunny Thursday from Ankeny, Iowa. Thanks for spending your time with me for a little bit today. See if you guys are sending me any comments. Good morning. Oh, wow, there's lots of you. Good morning. Are we crafting already this morning? Hello from Colorado. Good morning from chilly Indiana. It was chilly here today, but I can honestly say I am so not sad about it. I don't know if we had a hard frost last night, but this morning when I got up, the temp said it was 33 here. So I was not sad. It's been so warm, unseasonably warm here that I was enjoying like putting on a little jacket and feeling like, oh, winter's here. So or at least fall. I don't want winter. So good morning, Sacramento and North Carolina. Good morning. I hope you're all having a good week. I'm sure many of you joined Taylor on Tuesday, so you know this week was our All the Trimmings, and it is one of the things that I love. I know Taylor shared with you, I don't make, like some of you, the 100 Christmas cards. I try to make Thanksgiving cards for all those people that are really close to me that deserve a handmade card, and I love making tags because those people are the ones that are getting gifts from me, and I just love making those extra special. So I do make some Christmas cards, but it's mainly because my mom still likes to get my handmade cards, and I just can't feasibly get as many as I used to get done. So good morning. We've got Austin, Texas, expected to be 90 degrees. I'm a 60, 70 degree girl, and it's my favorite time of the year right now to have fall. I love the leaves changing. We had a bunch of wind here in Iowa the other day, so a lot of the leaves got knocked down, but the colors are just stunning, and I love it. Good morning. Oh, there's several of you that kind of have chilly mornings too, but 90 in Austin, Texas, you might win. So thanks for joining us. We are going to talk, tags for winter, so maybe it'll make you feel a little cooler than your 90 degree weather. I do have tea to spill today, and so stay with me till the end. I am very excited about the kit for Tuesday. I am personally going to purchase it, and I have ideas of what I'm going to do with it already, but I don't want to spill any tea too early. But like I said, I do really love making tags for my gifts because that's what's going to usually my nieces and nephews and my sister and my mom and dad and my kids, people that I know appreciate. So I put some time into my tags, and I honestly, I think people would enjoy getting a tag set. So I plan to make a set for my mom because every year she just takes a Sharpie and writes on the bottom of the gift. So it's nice to actually give her a tag that she can use on the top of our gifts. Good morning from Hawaii and Seattle. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me. I know, isn't it crazy that we haven't even hit Halloween yet, and we're so, like here at the office, we're so into the holidays and Christmas, but also we're moving on to the next year already. Good morning. Yes, so I don't want you to forget, I know Taylor mentioned it on Tuesday, I know it's on our website, but if you spend $75 in the All the Trimmings release, you can earn this for free. I mean, all the regular stuff is still there. You get the little freebie flower for the month, and you get if you go all the way up to spend $100, you will get our $100 freebie for the month. This is just a little extra bonus, but you have to spend it out of that new All the Trimming. Like if you go to what's new, it should be the first listing if you click on that. So if you order $75 from that, you'll get this one, and it's near and dear to my heart because it's all the to-froms that you need for making tags, and also for making tags all year long for birthday presents and things like that. Good morning. Can't wait to receive your tag quad. You guys loved that. Isn't that cool? I love that. And Taylor's tags that she did the other day were so cool, but those are the exact ones that I think I'm going to do for my mom because I can get a whole bunch of them done, because when you get all of us together, there's close to 50 people. I know she doesn't do gifts for that many, but she needs a lot of tags. So if I do that a few times, she should have enough. So I'm glad you're excited about it. So let's switch down and I'll show you what I'm going to work on today. I made something go away. There we go. That was close. I don't know why we got a black screen, but made my heart jump for a minute. You know me, I worry that I'm going to hit something wrong and screw up all the technology. So I'm glad you enjoy all the trimmings release. I love that Taylor also added the additional backer to that tag die. I think it's great to add. If any of you guys have the ones that we released for that in the past, those all still work together. So yeah, this is what we're going to work on today. It's a shaker, and you can do it one of two ways, however you want to do it. I did mine so that I can still write the to, from, and the inside, which I didn't add because I was a little nervous about whether all the trimmings, this stamp set, was going to make it through to today, but I will add those later. That's what I would use in the inside. The North Pole postmarks, I just love that they're all separated and I can put them where I want, and I enjoy all the little extra fonts. And if you're already ordering, wouldn't this be great? So I will add that to the inside, but you could also just do exactly what I'm going to do, but not have it open also, if that's what you would like to do. But I'm going to walk you through how to make the shaker and how that works. Okay, so the first thing, if you would like to make it open like this, because I don't know, it's just a little extra, being a little extra, I guess, when I make my tags. I like them to open or to be doubled so that I don't have to write on the front of it. My sister told me one time that she takes my tags and she saves them every year as Christmas tree ornaments. So that made me kind of take a right-hand turn or a left-hand turn with my tags, and I decided to start not putting names on the front of them. So a lot of times I put it on the back, or I do a double tag so she can take the tag off, just so that it still looks pretty. I don't know. She said that, and I know she's just saying that she loved them, but it also made me go, wow, I'm going to have to up my game if these are now Christmas tree ornaments, which I think these totally could be. So I'm going to take the dies from the Snow Globe Shaker tag, and this is what they look like. You've got and I'm going to walk you through what all these little bits and pieces are that are in there. I even had to have Taylor kind of explain to me what this was for, because I'm not a snow globe collector. I don't even think I have one. I know my daughter has one, but that's actually that little tag. I almost missed that. I was glad Taylor filled me in on that. So what I did is I just took a piece of sugar cube cardstock. Please ignore my swatching. I knew this was going to get cut off, so when I'm testing like Olos or my Copics, I find a spot just to swatch them, just to kind of see if I'm liking the way the colors are coming together, and I knew this would be tossed, so we can ignore that part. I just took a piece of sugar cube cardstock and folded it in half, just so that it's big enough to go with my snow globe. So what I'm going to do with it is just barely poke it to the top so that I have just a little bit hanging off. So let me tape it and then I'll flip it over so you can see it a little bit better. Or you could cut two of this without the fold at the top and just use a score line to put them together at the top. Whichever works for you, that would work too. I just had it just barely, and I can see that I probably need to scooch this up a smidge more. I'm not. So now you can see that I can just barely see my die line over the fold. That's going to give me that ability to open it. And we'll just send that through my die cut machine. While I have this, another thing that I'm going to do is I need to take some of and I don't need I just grabbed this. You just window acetate. The TE window acetate's fine. I took that same snow globe backer and I cut it out of acetate. Just the regular window acetate. I grabbed this by accident, but I already have it cut, so it doesn't matter. So we've got that. And then I'll also put this together and we can cut some of our new cardstock. It's Royal Icing cardstock, and we can cut the snow globe. I kind of want to show you how that positions together also. So let me scooch these things out of the way. I'll bring in my die cut machine. I actually like snow globe shakers, just probably more than actual snow globes. My daughter Courtney has one and it's so cute. It's got a Santa in it, but other than that, I wasn't ever a collector. I know that is kind of a thing a lot of people do collect. but I haven't had many of them in my life. So you can see how that just barely, I might send it through one more time. I don't know that I see that it cut all the way through. Being as I'm going through 2 layers of cardstock, it's helpful to roll it through twice. Peel this off. I don't know, this piece of cardstock, just to tell you, was 3 1/4 by, lay it out flat, 8, that 1/4 inch. Like if you could do 8 1/2. So I do have a little extra, but that is about the size that I needed to fold over and cut the snow globe and cut it through. Let me just peel this off really quick. I have a little bit of extra tape. Get this off. Peel gently. Okay, so do you see how that just hinges at the top? That's another fun way to be able to make shape cards too, if you're working on any sort of shape card. So, and that's how you make the base of that. We are going to ink blend on that. I'm going to set this aside, just barely aside, because I want to show you when you get your snow globe in the actual main packaging, it comes all tabbed in there. And you'll want to use die snip and cut those out. If you are making some of these, I would highly recommend, before you cut this inner part of the snow globe out, keep it all together and cut as many of these that you think you're going to need. So as many of this part as you think you're going to need. I went, at the beginning, look at this. Before I snipped them apart, and I just kind of went crazy, and I cut out a whole bunch of them. Just so I have them, I'll save them in the die packaging, just so they're ready to go. But if you have already snipped it apart, or because eventually you do need it in pieces so that you can make these backer pieces and your base piece, you need it apart. So I just want to show you what I like to do is I take it to my my work surface and have some tape at the ready, because once you get it all lined up, you don't want to be reaching for tape. If you're like me, I would like to just be ready to go. Grab some tape, and then you just, if I haven't snipped them off all the way, I will use my eyes to see where those die snips, where they did come together and join in the first place, and then I will just eyeball that they are lined up. And then put them together, and I can run that through my die cut machine. If you were wise and you had one cut before you snipped it, this is even better. I take one and I keep it as my master. Like I'll write on it like save. You could cut this out of a heavier weight cardstock, whatever, and I'll keep this in my packaging. And then I can take, and the main base piece, clip that around. So it's kind of I said clip, but clicked into place around that die cut, right? I'm going to tape this down so it doesn't move on me. Then I can take the inner piece and wiggle that around until it clicks and locks into place. Because I'm using this main one as my template. So when you first get your globe set, make yourself a template before you cut these out. I mean, take the centerpiece out, all those little pieces of like your snowflake. This is the top, like if you want to make a tag, and this is that label for the front of your snow globe. So take those out, and then take this main piece with the inner and cut it out a few times, and make sure you keep one. Like, I don't know, like if you've got a scrap piece of cardstock, you might not be your favorite color or something. It'll be a good cue for you not to, what do I want to say, use it or whatever. Like, I don't know, like maybe a really bright purple. You might not use that at Christmas. Maybe you would, but anyway, my whole point is to keep one as a master. So you see how I kind of pushed that into place, clicked it into place, and then I will use my tape, because then it's like perfectly lined up, and I can even use my eyes. I've got that ready to go. But save a master so you're ready to go. Then you'll take this one and we'll run it through my die cut machine. Oops, about ready to lose a plate. Run that through. But if you think about that, yeah, I like that Rachel says, a master, great idea. That is exactly what I do with some of these that get clipped apart. So it's kind of nice that they are tabbed, because they're in place for us when we get them, they're perfectly aligned, but before you clip them apart, just make sure you save yourself at least one master, okay? And then some of the other pieces that I already cut is I cut out of Toffee some little pieces. These are the base of this, and I already cut some of these out, and I have it laying. I lose things, even though I think I'm so organized to start with. What did I do with them? I have them all taped into their, hold please. Well, I can use those, but I was all organized, and I even have them taped into my piece of, oh, it's on the floor. There we go. This is, I wanted to tape them back into my die instead of having them all in my bowl, because it's kind of hard to tell which one's the smaller one for the top part of this base, and then which one is for the bottom part of this base. So, and then we have this piece, which is also the main part of the base. So let's cut that one too. Grab some of my Toffee Cardstock. My main colors today don't really fully apply because I used a lot of alcohol-based markers. And so I have my ink pads, but they're not completely reflective of the color combo I was going for. I was, of course, going for Tiki Mule, Royal Icing, and then Sour Gummy, which I got from my Copics. I have Toffee that I used as my cardstock for the base of it, and Latte for ink blending over the top to give it just a little bit more dimension. And then green tea is what I cut the trees out of, but I'm going to blend them also to give them dimension. Oh, I don't know what they said, but that is funny. If you aren't losing, oh, thank you. That's me. Sorry. So true. I clean up and then I make a mess. I think that's part of crafting, right? And I know we've had this discussion before. Are you a person that cleans up as soon as you're done or when you want to start? I can tell you which one I am and which one I wish I was. Always check the floor. You're right. I was getting frustrated because I'm like, I even glued this or taped this back in place. I agree. So I wish I was a cleanup as soon as I'm done crafter, but I'm usually the cleanup when I want to start a new project person or on another day when I have a minute. I wish I was a cleanup as soon as I'm done with the project. I am here at the office. I'm really, because I know there's other people that are working around me and I want to keep the space clean for them too. But yeah. All right, so we have our base of our snow globe that we need. We have our acetate. We also have our snow globe skeleton that I said make yourself a master and keep it. We don't need this one. This is our base for our snow globe that came from this piece. And then these, which I have taped into place so I can easily tell which is the top and the bottom. I've already cut there. And then this is the tag for if you want to add a tag. You don't have to. It's completely up to you. That's why we did it separate. I've already cut that out of Royal Icing cardstock. All right, so one of the things that I want to do with this is I want to take some, it is cut out of Toffee cardstock, but I like adding dimension with Latte. And I think it's mainly because I get a little more dimension out of it. Another reason why I glued these back in here is because, or I keep saying glue, but I use some of our Scotch removable tape, is they're easier to ink blend when they're popped back in there. So I just wanted to ink blend the edges a little bit to give it that dimension of like the curved round bottom and lightly hit them. So just to add that little bit of dimension. And if I do want to pop them out, try to keep the top there and the bottom there so I don't lose which direction they're going. So that's that. And I'm going to go ahead and glue it before I forget. And then have to, because I'm always like chasing it a little bit to see which one goes where. I add a little bit to the edge of this too. All right, let's glue those in place before I misplace them. I love it. I will say you're absolutely right. If I am on a roll, with being creative. No, I don't want to clean. It is, I do think I am more creative in a clean space though. Do you agree with that? Over the weekend, I had to clean up because I made some things for Stamp Joy and I had to clean up my space and put things away again. So yeah, I wish I was a clean up as soon as I was done person, but I'm not. I usually do it like the next day, or I make myself go up because when I go back to my craft room, I want it to be clean. I feel like I'm more creative that way. So there's my base. So we have that. We can go ahead and glue that to, this was the Royal Icing where I had the dies locked into place. This year, it was my year to get really organized in my stamp room, and I feel really good about what I did and where I got rid of a lot of things. Over the years, you really accumulate different tools for things. Man, there's a lot of tools, and tools have come a long way, and we've gotten a lot better. But back in the day, like I had one of those big Xyron laminators. I just don't use it as much anymore. So it felt really good to get some of my space cleared out. Okay, this is the acetate that I want to put behind my snow globe, and I am usually try to get that done early on, because if I mess up a shaker, it's usually because I have forgotten the acetate. So if you've ever taken a Stamp Joy class with me and we made shakers, that's my number one cue for everyone. Don't forget the acetate. So on the part that I know is going to be on the inside with my shaker bits, I'm going to go ahead and you could do this with spray bottle of alcohol or whatever, but here at the office we have these alcohol prep wipes. I think you can like get them at Target or any CVS or anything like that. I just know they're low lint, so we take them here and wipe the acetate because it actually really helps with the static cling. And I apologize, I know you probably can't hardly see the snow globe, but I wiped that. So the next thing I'm going to do is take the actual skeleton part, or the outline of our snow globe. I'm going to add glue to the back of this, and we will put it on our acetate. I do like to use liquid glue but again, whatever you're most comfortable with. If you like to use a tape runner, that's great too. I just like the little bit of extra wiggle time that I get positioning that piece of acetate behind there. I do have a little bit of glue that peeked out. Once that's dry, I can take some of that, the leftover alcohol prep pad, and I can wipe that. It'll come off. I think that's actually how we discovered this, that it helps knock down some of the static. So let that dry for a second. Also in these decorations is these cute little snowflakes. Sorry I didn't show that, but I know when I had the unopened packaging for you, the snowflakes that are in the middle, I took those and cut them out of some of our sugar cube, or I don't know if we call it white glitter cardstock. I love this stuff. And I noticed here at the office, we even saved the little scraps, because it's amazing how you can get little hearts and stars and just small things out of this. It's great. I'm going to take that alcohol prep while this is sitting here. Just wipe that edge so I can get rid of that little bit of glue I have on the edge. And I made the cardstock damp, but it'll dry back. So let's move this out of the way and we can work on, I want to do a little bit of blending to create more of a landing spot on this. I have a little bit of adhesive left from my Scotch removable tape because I went through twice, plus I had 2 layers of cardstock, so it put a little bit more pressure on my Scotch removable, and sometimes then it leaves a little more adhesive behind, but these adhesive remover squares are brilliant. The other day we had a boo-boo with some ink blending. If you get to your ink and kind of use this, sometimes you can get a little bit of your ink off your cardstock with it too. So I think these are a must-have around my office, around the stamp room, I guess. Let's see. Oh, okay, I agree with that. She says, Kay, is it Anders, says she's a cleanup person everywhere except in her craft room. I kind of am that way a little bit in my craft room. Sometimes I walk away when it's really messy And it doesn't bother me because I know I'm not upsetting anyone. That's my space. So the rest of the house, someone else might see it, right? So for the background, I wanted to create kind of some hills. Didn't have to be much, but I just didn't want this to be stark white in the background. Can you kind of see? Let me see if I can shake. Okay, can you kind of see my snowy hills in the background here? I just wanted to create a little bit of something going on in the background. That is why I chose the royal icing for my snow globe. The way I created it was just freehanding with some removable labeling tape. So when I save this, because I haven't soaked through with my blending yet, I will continue to use my mask until I start seeing the ink soak through. That doesn't ask me how I know. Pay attention to the back of that, because once it starts soaking through, it obviously gets down on your base cardstock. But I just took, we also have dies if you would rather use dies. You can use some of the TE mask paper also. That would work great. I just happened to have this really close by. And I thought, oh, I'm just going to grab this. Really easy, right? And I'm just going to freehand hills. And I don't need them to be super big or super anything. I just want it to give somewhere for my snowman to land. And the trees. So the trees don't look like they're just hanging out there. And then I can place that down. I kind of want to look. I decided it's a little under half is where I ended up laying my mask. Just because I didn't, like I said, I don't want my trees to look like they're buried in the snow, but I also want kind of that cutoff line. So either way, both masks work. I need to flip this because right now I'm blending my sky, aren't I? Flip that around. And this is the base of my tags. So I do want to open it up because otherwise sometimes when you blend, you do kind of catch the edge of the back part, and I didn't really like that. So something I like to do is just open it up. I'm going to take, oh, does that work? Sue, I have not seen that. Sue said that she uses this, which this sounds like we're living on the edge. She must go like this, am I right, to clean up your cutters or your scissors? Huh. I've never done that. Good tip. So I'm going to use royal icing, and we're going to use royal icing. I'm going to use just a very light hand of a royal icing down into the bottom portion of our snow globe. Light hand. I don't want it to be super blue, just so we can add some dimension. And I don't have to worry about too low here because all of this will be covering a lot of it up. Just a light hand. And it doesn't have to be perfect because the majority of it does get cut up. Oh, I can see I must have scotch removable stuck still here. Do you see that? I'm bad at that. Let's get that out of the way. I missed that. I will have to, I think a little bit of my frame is going to cover that up, but all of a sudden I'm like, why isn't it blending? There was a little bit of scotch removable tape still stuck on there. All right. So I'm pretty happy with that hill, and like I said, kind of with the other one that I used on these two, I can keep reusing that. I just wanted to show you how I freehand cut them, but I will set them aside, put them on a piece of packaging or something to hold on to them for my next project or to continue on making some of these tags. So we already have our outside piece all done. And we're going to glue that on eventually with our foam adhesive. So one of my favorite things for this is our foam sticky strips. One, I love that the width of them, we always try to pay attention to the width of our shaker dies when we have them. I need to wipe that again. I didn't do a very good job with that, wiping my glue off. My prep wipe has not run out yet. Run out of being damp. I keep sticking it back in here so it has a little bit to it. There we go. I think I got it this time. But it's the back side mainly that I do need to worry about taking care of that static cling. I'll do it one more time just while it's sitting here. we are going to add these foam sticky strips around the edge. That's why I love using these, is they're just the perfect width, and we do this on purpose for our shaker dies, and they give you height that you can add a lot of things in them. And being I'm not mailing a tag, it's great that I can use that little bit of extra height. So what I like to do is peel one of them off, and I do take the backer off. I find that I have a little bit better ability to bend this around my project. So I'm going to start kind of down here on the bottom, and then we will go ahead and take it all the way around. We just want to make sure that we stay behind the blue, otherwise you'll see your foam. Here, I'm going to put this up to the camera here in a second here. But if you take that backer off, the whole piece of foam strip bends more easily around your project. Whatever you're working on, whether it's a shaker tag or shaker card. You see that? So that gives us the well that we need. I need one more. I'm going to kind of have to guess here a little bit, because I do want to peel off my backing. Yep, I think I'm good. So I peeled off one little strip again. I'll peel the backing of it off. I'm going to come and connect over here on this side of my globe, just because it'll be easier if I need to fudge something with how these come together towards the bottom of this. So do you see how I touched it? That will make extra sure, as long as they're touching, that nothing from my shaker bits comes out, especially if you want to use something like glitter or something like that's fine. You wouldn't want it sneaking out of your well. And then when I get down here, I can take a scissors and clip that off. And that's why I say down here on the bottom, if I need to like have a little bit more wiggle room or fudgeability, it's nice to have that be at the bottom of my snow globe. So there you go. So I kind of came down just a little bit more, but I don't want to be down too much, because I don't want, when someone picks up my shaker, that they all fall down. Oh, sorry. When they pick it up, I don't want everything to fall down at the bottom. So that's why I like to keep whatever shaker I'm working on, I like to keep the base of that foam pretty close to my opening, because that way stuff isn't just falling towards the bottom and your recipient doesn't see it. It's a waste of shaker bits, right? So if you have any extra of these strips, this is a good spot to use it, because we do want to fill in the bottom of this so that we don't have any sagging, right? And this part doesn't matter. It's more you're trying to make your dimension equal. Then we just need to peel this up. I am going to pause for a second here. I'm going to peel the backer off of this, just because I know it's off of my snow globe, and that way I have it all ready to go for when I have this all put together. So we're gonna grab our snowmen. I thought these guys were so cute, the Flaky Friends. I went and stamped them with VersaFine Clair on sugar cube cardstock. I used VersaFine Clair. Of course, I powdered first. I used our powder tool and VersaFine Nocturne Clair, and I stamped the snowman, and I embossed it with clear embossing powder. When I do Olos or any alcohol coloring, I don't know, or if you watercolor, I always like that well that embossing creates. So that is, I don't know that you would have to do this, but I just think it's a really finished, polished look. So I took my snowmen. I'm going to bring in several of them. And because it's so tiny and small to color for you on a live, I did some ahead of time. I thought I would do just the scarf on one of them here. This is, and I know I'm sorry, I'm going to disappoint you. These, I didn't pay attention to what alcohol marker colors. Oh, I'm frozen. Help, Whitney. There we go. I'm back. All right, I'll pay attention. Sorry, I've froze on me. if Sue or Whitney has any ideas for me, let me know. I'll keep going. Hopefully we're good. I have our 5.5 and our 5.7 that I use. What I was saying when the screen froze, so you guys haven't missed anything yet, is I didn't mark all my alcohol colors. Sometimes when I color, I just grab whatever's the closest and the right color that I see. And as you saw, I'll flick a little piece on a paper to see if I like the way it's working, how they're coming together. But for the scarf, our 5.5 and our 5.7. The rest of this, I know I use the color that's sugar, sour gummy, and tiki mule and royal icing that we have listed on our website. So we'll do the R 5.5. So we're good. All of a sudden I looked up.
in to look at it.
Yeah,
when I heard you say that.
My hands froze. And I was like, I don't want to touch anything.
Hi, crafty friends.
Hello, it's
Susan, this is so cute.
Thank you.
I love these little snowmen.
Aren't they adorable? I'm only going to color a little bit for them because I am not a Copic. That's Lori's job, teacher. And all I'm doing, being these spaces are so small, is basically just coming in and just dotting with the color. I just kind of let the ink flow where it's going to. That's one of the reasons why I embossed, because the embossing creates a little well. If you notice, just dotting. So I don't think I was frozen for very long, was I?
Okay, good. No, it was a second. So I just was making sure video cameras were looking all good. You look good.
Yeah, good. So do you, Whitney.
Oh.
She looks so cute today. She's all ready for winter in her boots and sweater.
Oh, I am. I'm trying to bring on the fall vibes.
I actually loved it this morning. I know it was 33 degrees, but I loved it. I loved it. Throw on a little jacket. It's good, right? Again, just dotting is all I'm doing. And where do they find the Copic color matches on our website? Remind me again.
There is a download.
It's a download.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is a download, and then you can find when we release new colors. Like we're releasing a new one. I know you're doing the live for it at the beginning of November. So next Thursday? No,
is it?
No, 2 Thursdays now.
2 Thursdays.
Next
You got to come
Kit.
2 weeks.
Yep. But
look at all the hellos.
I know. Hi, friends. It looks like Claudia says, how long do you wait before you emboss so ink doesn't smear?
I'm a little confused by the question, I guess. Because if I'm going to emboss, I actually want to put the embossing powder on it and heat set it right away. Or are you asking how long do I wait before I start in with Olos? I want to make sure it's really dry. Sometimes I'll even hit it with a heat tool. So I don't know. Maybe clarify your question for me. Because if I'm using VersaFine Clair Nocturne, I want to put that powder on it and heat it right away. And then, it should not smear. If you've embossed it and it's set and it's completely melted, there should be no smearing. That's one of the reasons why I love that. Emboss right away, yes. And your ink should, maybe your powder wasn't sticking because you didn't put on the powder fast enough. I'm not sure. But anyway, I colored this guy a little bit. I'm not going to bore you with the whole thing because, like I said, Lori's better at teaching you all that. I'm going to grab one of my snowmen that I already did. I really like this guy holding the envelope. We're going to work with him. He has a top hat on, so it's a him. I took the little trees that are out of the die set for Dinky Decorations, and I cut them out of green tea already. So it's this die set, but I cut them out of green tea, and I'm going to ink blend the edges a little bit just to give them that dimension that I love. I talk to you guys about that all the time, that I want the little bit of dimension. So, and I could put a little temporary adhesive. How long do you wait for black ink? So if you're asking about like Oreo before you Olo color, is that what you're talking about? Because if that's kind of what you're talking about, then I would make extra sure that you have that either heat set before you start coloring with Olos, because honestly, you're not supposed to use alcohol ink with the VersaFine Clair. Is that right? Do I have that right? Yeah. I want to make sure I'm not saying that wrong. Yeah. That you're not supposed to use on its own, but being as I use clear embossing powder, that's setting that ink and securing it under the embossing powder, that's fine to use with my alcohol inks, or at least as far as I know. I'm definitely not 100% expert all the time. Yes.
No, I'm just watching you because now I'm in here and I'm invested
look
in the projects.
I know. Look how much dimension that adds to a tree, though. Just to take one that's
Those little trees are perfect for
aren't
this
they?
too.
Yeah, Dinky Decorations.
Nice.
Yeah, it adds so much texture to your trees to add that in the background, if you can catch that. So, clean that up. We'll glue that onto our snowy hills. Just need to glue some things and we get to make a shaker.
Eeks!
I know,
so exciting.
Hopefully they can't hear my stomach growling.
I just finished my coffee, so you know me. Once I finish my coffee, then I start to feel like, when is snack time?
When is snack time? When is it lunchtime? I agree. I 100% agree. That's so funny that you say it that way, because that's me. Mm-hmm. I use liquid glue behind this because I kind of wanted to be able to tuck my trees a little bit here. So I put one down, and then liquid glue gives me that minute to be able to move it, because I don't really want this guy. I'm going to have my snowman in front of it. So I don't want to cover it up 100%, but I also don't want to make the tree look like it's floating out there in air. So there we go. I'm going to double check. I did this when I designed these. I kept putting my snowman down and seeing if I wanted my trees to move. And you're going to see the process that I'm like, no, I want to shift them some more. I'll make sure he kind of covers up so it doesn't look like it's floating too much. Do you see that? I wanted to move them over just that little bit. So that's why I like using the liquid glue. Once I get them where I want them, I will use one of my magnets to hold it down. I can work on the other one now. Just put a little bit of liquid glue behind that. Pop that over here. I'm going to double check that I still like where this is going. Yes, I like that. That's sticking out. I like that I kind of am covering up all this white space up in here. Maybe I'll go up just a little bit with that tree. Yeah. That's why I like using the liquid glue and just kind of laying my snowman down so I can see roughly where I'm at. I'm going to do the same thing with my snowman. Put a little liquid glue on the back of him. Scooch him this way a little bit. So there we go. I hope I cleared some of that up. I apologize. I hope I explained all that, Claudia. I know there's still discussion about it, and I don't know what people have answered already. If you're using Oreo with alcohol markers, which is what the ink that you should use, either heat set it or let it fully dry. I am kind of impatient, and it always depends on the humidity in the area that you're in. I always take the Oreo, and if I'm just going to stamp it, I heat set it just to get it really good and dry. I don't know, as far as setting it, I don't know, maybe a few minutes, call it good. But one of the reasons why I love to use, because you can't just use this on its own, you have to use this plus a clear embossing powder to set this, because this is not safe for your alcohol inks. I set it with the clear, and that way it gives me, like I said, those little wells and kind of bumpers when I'm coloring. It's just something with watercolor that I did years ago, and I just can't stop doing now. I love embossing. You guys all know that. I love my embossing. So I'm going to go ahead and I have these little stars again, or these little I'm losing my words. These little snowflakes that came in the snow globe shaker tag. And we're going to add them here and there, wherever. I feel like that one is the one I don't like because it's a little big. A bunch of them in here. Take those out, and we're going to add those behind my snowman. I could just add these as part of the shaker elements in my snow globe, and that's fine. But I also wanted some little things kind of stuck here and there that are not going to move and fall down to the bottom of my shaker. So I'll take and let's add just a little bit of glue up here. Put this one up here. And then I cut more of the smaller snowflake dies. Do you see all of these in here? A lot of them are the smaller ones, just because this is kind of a small little opening. And we're just going to add some here and there, just so some of them kind of stay in place. I might scooch this one kind of down in here, and you might not notice the tape boo-boo as much if I kind of hide it with my snowflake a little bit. I don't have my pick and place tool, so I'm working rogue a little bit, but these are pretty easy to pick up. So I put some dots here and there. Don't know what that was. That's not a snowflake. Got one more over here to cover. I just think these, our white glitter cardstock, or some of our specialty cardstock, is so cute to die cut these little things with, these little snowflakes. And to have extras, like I said, you could just put them in here, and I could even do that now. Just add some just that aren't glued down. And I can go, I just want to make sure that they are right side up with our glitter paper, because on the back side it's obviously plain. Let's set this. So to kind of get all of our shaker bits, now that we've got our trees down, we've got our snowman down, we've got some snowflakes down, I'm going to take all of my shaker bits and pile them in the middle of this, and then we will take the globe and go over the top. So I've already put some of those die cut pieces that are going to move. Let's add, I'm going to take, I think, some of our little stars. I have a little scooper. I do like to kind of control. And you can use whatever you want. So I might wait on our stars, because I did find there's some new products that we're carrying now. The Distress Glitter, I use some of our snowflakes, clay snowflakes. Some are our glossy white rhinestones. These are, oh, well, there's clay stars. You could use those too. I'm going to grab our clay snowflakes, the glossy white rhinestones. I used on both of them, but I also thought it was fun to add some of this Distress Glitter. It's rock candy. This one's much smaller. This one you have to be a little more careful that all of your edges are touching and there's nothing that's going to be, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Someone said that I could have, before I put the snowman down, splattered with white in the background. I'm not your splatter girl. I love the idea, and everyone else does such a great job, but splatter's not one of my first go-tos, but that would be brilliant. I love it. Anyway, but the rock candy, and also there's a new one, at least it's new to me, the mica flakes. These are a little chunkier, and they're in this one. So the mica flakes are in this one. Can you see those in there? Look, this is what they look like in the container. Look, they look like little shards of glass, actually, that are opal. But isn't that pretty? So that is in this one. And then I put the glitter in, the rock candy glitter, in this one. But both of them then do have the clay snowflakes and the white rhinestones. So, but the biggest point of all that is to whatever I put, I'm going to put it in the middle, and don't have it pile up too high, but just kind of concentrate it here in the middle. Not on this outer part where my foam is going to land, because I want to make sure that my foam is very well adhered to my cardstock. So I'll put just a smidge more. I just don't want them to disappear behind all the snow. But I love these, those mica flakes are just pretty. And then I'm going to use some of the snowflakes, but being this is a small little shaker, I am kind of picking out some of those smaller snowflakes and not the bigger ones. So he's starting to look like he's in a snowstorm, but it'll all move. Aren't they so shiny? I agree. Someone said so shiny. They're so pretty. I believe I even have them at my house. Maybe they're not new. They're just new for me to realize that we have here at TE. And then white rhinestones. Totally up to you whether you want to add these or not. The thing about the white rhinestones is I always feel like I need to be a little more picky about if they're upright or not. I'm not going to bore you with that today. Just gonna put them in. So I have all my shaker bits kind of piled up on top, but in the middle. And do a quick double check that you have nothing that's gonna be in the way of this foam adhering to the cardstock. So we'll flip that over. I'm gonna get my head in here a little bit because I really want to make sure it's lined up. Whoops, sorry. That's the bad part, is I can't really get in there and look. But I usually just put my head over the top, line up, because you can see the white outside of that royal icing. It's pretty apparent that you're lined up. And then just adhere it down. And then I always go around wherever that foam is around the globe and make extra sure you press really hard. Because sometimes you might think it's adhered, but if you haven't pressed, it might not be actually stuck to the shaker card. And I say that because I've done it before where I've picked it up and I'm like, where did everything go? It's because it wasn't quite pressed all the way yet. Oh, and I have two that are stuck on top of each other. If I shake it hard enough, they'll move. Then down here, this little, I just think this is such a cute idea. Taylor had this idea and I didn't do it because I don't like my own handwriting, but a lot of snow globes, don't they put the year in there? So if you liked your handwriting, cut this out of sugar cube or whatever cardstock you want and then write the year. You could write 2025 on it. I went and looked around and found like sentiments that would fit in these openings. So I have two for you. One is from our Itty Bitty line. We have lots of different Itty Bitties, but this one is our Itty Bitty Sentiments Holiday. And in here is like peace. I think that one would fit, but the Noel fits. Let me double check if that piece fits for you. Yep, the piece would fit. It's kind of tight, but the Noel is what I used here. And then on this one, I got even more creative. So this one is called Modern Holiday Greetings. And this piece, wishing you peace and joy, this one right here, I'm going to peel this off so you can see it better. This joy is so easy to just emboss that piece and die cut up just the joy, because I really liked how the joy fit into the opening. And I just thought, as far as a gift goes, you could even write the person's name. Wouldn't that be fun? So to write the person's name on this, as long as it's a shorter name, or you can write really small, add that in there. So what I did is I stamped it with VersaFine on our sugar cube cardstock. I of course embossed it or used our anti-static tool first, stamped the Nocturne VersaFine Clair, and then just did several of them. And I've already taken this one, centered it up, and run it through the die cut machine so that our Noel is ready to go. I of course used a little tape so I didn't lose it before we got to the live, right? Yeah, we've had a little trouble with the cutting out. This is probably the second time today. We're really close to being done. So I will get to the T. And then here's the one that's the joy. So like I said, all I did was when I went to go to my Misty, I'm going to grab a block, but I just inked this part up, or you could use a piece of masking paper or ink it and then just do a quick wipe with your baby wipe. I just got this joy, stamped it, and then put clear embossing powder over it. And then we can die cut this to create that little panel piece. I'm going to run it through my die cut machine without bringing you in. So there's our joy. But I think you could look around at your stamps and see what you have, just like I did. I'm sure there's other ones that you could admit certain, like using a little masking paper or masking tape or something to admit just the little pieces that you, whatever word you want to just bring in and use that one word. So I'm going to take this. I think I'm going to go with the Noel. I like them both. It's hard for me to decide. I have enough stuff to make a whole nother one. So there you go. It gives you your nameplate, but I love the idea that Taylor had to put the year in there. That would be fun. Okay, and then I already cut this from some of our Royal Icing cardstock. I'm going to put a little glue and put it on the back. I will tell you, I did think about hiding this, that where would I want this hidden if I did it and hid it? I would have to put it between the foam, either up here or the foam in the back. And I just didn't want to risk having that little bit of a bump or a lip between the cardstock here and where my foam is hitting and sealing up that shaker. Completely up to you. If you would like that hidden, I would tell you to just go ahead and do that. I didn't care. I didn't think it looked that bad, just having a little bit of tag on the back. I didn't think that was a big deal. I don't think it's super offensive, but it's completely up to you. If you want to hide it, I would probably hide it before I added that foam around the snow globe. I would add it there, because if I add it in the front, I feel like it's going to be a little top heavy. I'd rather have it be more at the base of my snow globe, the back part, if you're looking at it that way. So let's do that. And then I just used some twine. I think we still sell on TE the twine. And here at the office, we just had some random silver to use also. I just took a couple of those, tied them, and I always call it cheating. Take a little bit of my, instead of tying it to my tag topper, I tie my bows and then I glue them on, and then it looks perfect. Besides, you're probably going to add this to the top of a package, so I'm sure you're going to have different ways that you want to add to secure it and attach it to your gift. I'm going to go like that. Cut this off my rolls. And then this is where I cheat. I love perfect bows, so my favorite way is just to glue them on the top. I feel like it always makes them perfect, as opposed to trying to go around the cardstock and hope that it cooperates and bends the way I want my bow to bend. There we go. And that's it. Now, if you did qualify and got the freebie to from, I would add that to the inside too. From the North Pole postmarks, if you got that, I would definitely put your to from on the inside. Or the back, obviously, if you didn't make yours an open up piece. But I'll just put a magnet on there to hold that in place. So there we go. Are you guys ready for some tea? Are we ready? And I apologize, Claudia, if I missed something and I didn't answer your question correctly. I'll have to go back and look at the comments. Anyway. Yeah, I'll have to go back and look. Hopefully, I'm glad you're saying that everything's clarified. That's awesome. Thanks, everyone, for the help. So, tea for next week. I'm telling you guys, I'm so super excited about this. So, I can't wait for you to come back and join Taylor on Tuesday. Are you ready? You know it's a kit. Well, I don't know. So excited. I am so excited. So, I hope you join Taylor on Tuesday. Don't forget about the freebie. It's $75 from that All the Trimmings category on the website. It should be just in your cart when you go to your cart, and it is while supplies last. And I do know the numbers are getting dwindled, but I don't know how many of you already have it. So don't forget to get that done if you want it. Don't wait, because it's while supplies last. And thank you for joining me. I hope you make a shaker. I can't wait to see it if you share it on